For more on this, we're now joined by our SABC News reporter, Neria Hlakotsa, and she joins us via our telephone line. Neria, thank you so much for your time this evening. And clearly looking at that package, one would say that Zamani Sol is really not a happy man at this moment.
Good evening to you, Mbali. Definitely the chairperson of the ANC is not happy with the results, but they did say that they accept the results and this will be an opportunity for them to renew as a party, in fact continue with their plan to renew the party. And he did say that among other things, this was a rude awakening, and it means that they will go back to the drawing board and see what they can do. But he says it's a little setback and they will come back stronger after this. But you also know that some of the parties that now have seats in the legislature, like the Economic Freedom Fighters, today they were clear that they're not going to be discussing any coalitions, but the ANC was saying they are open to talk to anyone for that matter, and the Patriotic Alliance is also open. So it remains to be seen who will be sitting on the table with the ANC and to see the way forward, because right now we have a hung provincial legislature. But the Premier of the Northern Cape still believes that they are strong still in the legislature, and they can still have some form of power, and nobody will be able to govern without them being involved in it. So that's a little confidence that they still have, but ultimately they are very disappointed. You could see their faces even when they are briefing the media. That confidence is not the same as the one they had when counting was still underway, when people were voting, because on voting day, in fact, the chairperson of the ANC, Dr. Zamani Sol, indicated that they will get at least 60% for these elections, and yesterday they went down to 53%, only for the results to give them 49.34%.
And one would say that it really is a hung legislature there, an area, especially when you look at the numbers coming out of the Northern Cape. I mean, you have just taken us through some of the political parties that they are most likely to speak to. But looking at what the EFF are saying, that they're only interested in Julius Malema becoming the president of the country, who is most likely, in your opinion, to go into a coalition with the ANC in the Northern Cape?
At this point, it's a really hard one to tell. I mean, I was speaking to the various parties. You know, I spoke to the EFF. The EFF was clear that, among other things, also just beyond making Julius Malema their president, they were saying that they want to ensure that the people of the Northern Cape get the services that they want. And this was also a view by the Freedom Fund Plus. But the Freedom Fund Plus was open because they have one seat in the provincial legislature. So they are most likely going to have talks with them, but to which extent it's still unclear. And like the PA said, they are willing to talk with the ANC. They're not closing any doors yet in any case. So it remains to be seen at this point who will be comfortable with the ANC. Like the parties also said, they still have to go to the national leadership to sit down and discuss these results and discuss a way forward.
And it seems as if, Neria, that it will be a tricky one there for the Northern Cape ANC. But of course, looking at the numbers coming out from Northern Cape, being the ANC sitting on 49.30%. And of course, we know that the Northern Cape is the first province to have their counting 100% complete at the moment. The DA coming in slowly there with 21.22%, as well as the EFF sitting there on the third spot on 12.89%. But we know that a number of political parties will now now then trickle then back to their national leadership to try and figure out which particular parties they'll be going into coalitions with. But of course, we'll continue then to give you live coverage, especially when it comes out of the provincial departments there, or rather the parties in those provinces, when it comes to how exactly they will be maneuvering these, of course, coalition talks.